What is going on, Rockstar? How are you? How are you? How are you? Happy, about to say Wednesday. Happy Freestyle Friday. Oh my goodness. We don't want to go back. We want to keep going forward. In this episode of networking, see, that's where I'm at. I'm stuck on Wednesday. In this episode Freestyle Friday with Co's. We talk about everything from business to relationships. I am your host, Coach Co's. Welcome, welcome, welcome. How are you? How are you? How are you? Happy Freestyle Friday. Oh my goodness. So this week has been an interesting week. It's been an interesting week, to say the least. It has been interesting. So let's jump into it. So this week, we have been talking about 3 letters: W, H, Y. Why? What is your why? Why? Why are you? Why do you do what you do? Why are you a business owner? Why are you an entrepreneur? Why are you? Why? Well, why? Well, why? And I think I am stuck on because networking with Co's was, it took me in a different direction to really think about what kills our curiosity as we grow up. The experiences, the trials, the tribulations, everything that we go through as we grow up. And sometimes that can be a factor in killing our curiosity. And I thought that was very informative because I didn't, that wasn't my into that, but it did bring everything into full circle, if that makes sense. Because when we stop asking questions, when we stop becoming curious about things and why they work and how they work and, what do they do, really stop us as adults. We don't take leaps. We don't take, what I want to say, we don't take leaps of faith. We don't jump at things that we are supposed to jump at. It keeps us back. And to lean, that is huge. I mean, if you really stop to think about what killed your curiosity growing up, and maybe it wasn't killed. Maybe it was something that, maybe you put to the side or something to that nature. Maybe, it's on the back burner. Bring it back, because that's what helps you become better in your personal and in your professional life. Curiosity, asking questions. I was told I talk too much. I ask too many questions. That's why I'm an entrepreneur. That's why I'm a coach, because I ask too many questions. I used to think that I was the most uncreative person in the world because it was something that I never leaned into. And at the times when I was creative, it, you know, it was not recognized, or it was like, oh, okay. And it made me think about how, as parents, we talk to our children. Like, think about if your kid, they ask you a gazillion questions every day, all day, every day. Why does that do that? And how come that does that? And this, and why, and what, and when, and how, and why? Because they're curious. And maybe we don't have the patience. And sometimes as parents, maybe we're having a bad day, maybe, it's a little bit much, and we or I'll answer it later, or we kind of unconsciously or maybe consciously stop their curiosity. We stop them from asking questions. Is it their fault that they're curious? No. It's our job as parents to let me say this the right way. It's our job as parents to handle the questions that they are asking better, not to shut them down. And I really had to think about and ask my boys, like, hey, did I do this? And I never forget, my oldest, well, the second oldest, was like, I thought we talked about this. And I was like, I think we did, but sometimes you just want to keep it fresh in your head. That he's like, it's not that you shut it down. He was just like, work, and sometimes you were there, sometimes you were not. And when you was there, you was there. But I also knew when your attentions were elsewhere, when you were not giving me that full focus. And the oldest and the youngest. But they was like, we understood that you were trying to do this and provide, and you and dad, and this, that, and the other. So, sometimes we have to have that talk with our kids for them to understand, and for us to get clarification on the things that we did, so we won't do it going forward, and they won't do it to their kids. If you really think about when you were growing up, we learned a lot of things we learned it by listening, watching, hearing, everything. We engulfed all of that. And sometimes it's a process of, it's not sometimes, it's a process of filtering all of that stuff out, digging all of that up, so we can get to the root of who we are. I love my coach when he says, we have to go deep instead of wide. And that's a true statement. Because if we don't go deep and we don't go inward to go outward, we get it mixed up. We can't go outward to go inward. That's backwards. You don't see a tree growing from the inside out. It doesn't do that. We have to start. Everything that we need is on the inside of us. And I know that's so cliche for me to say, but think about it. Really take the time to dissect it and pull it out and really take your mind around it. We all have been through something growing up. We've all been through things growing up. And those things that we walked through, that we made it to the other side, were things that shaped us, sometimes for the good, sometimes for the bad, sometimes just for the experience of knowing what not to do next. And we have to take that, look at it, pull out the lesson from it, and then throw it away. Because if it's not helping us build up, then it's going to help us build down. And right now, we need to be building up. We need to be building up so we can build out, so we can help more people to the back, to the front, to the side of us. And mm, it took me a minute to get comfortable with talking about um, being verbally and sexually abused growing up. It took me a while to even tell that to my husband. Um, but it happened for me to help someone else and to let them know that, hey, you're not alone. I've been through it. I've been through it. I got over it. Let me help you get over it. And it's not to keep it down inside. It's to uproot it and take the lesson from it and throw it away. Because that doesn't define me. What defines me is how I define myself and how you define yourself. You know, I thought it would be I thought that it would be easier. And it is to a certain degree. It is. It is to a certain degree. I thought it would be easier to uh, raise boys. And it is to a certain degree. But some of the things and the questions that they ask, even at the ages that they are now, is it's a little uncomfortable to have those conversations, but I have them because I want them to go out and change the world with their generation. And my son, I went up to his job, and he just got a new job and he's working, and he was like, I never would have did this without you pushing me and help building my confidence up. Because sometimes, even as young men, they need to have their confidence built up too. And it was just one of those tender moments that, you feel like, okay, I did that right. If that makes sense, like, okay, I did that one right. All right. And they all have their moments because they all have to define who they are within themselves. And as parents, as moms, as business owners, as I want to say influencers, but that's not the word that I want to use right now. I want to say as the influencers in our children's lives, we have to be constantly aware of what we are doing and not to leave a bad taste in their mouth and in their mind. Because you have to remember, they take everything in. And I say that because I remember I remember this. We were at a park and they all had to go to the bathroom. So, um, we were hanging out with the family and they all had to go to the bathroom. So we went to the bathroom because, of course, now my husband was on the grill. So took him to the bathroom. And it was so funny because they were washing their hands. And I think they were like 9, 7, and 5, if I'm not correct, or 7, 5, and 3, something like that. And I was like, okay, we gotta open the door now. And but they flushed the toilet with their feet, and then they were washing their hands, and then they had the paper towel, and then they opened the door, and they were like, okay, mom, you could go. And I'm like, where did you guys learn it? It's like, we learned it from watching you. Taking the paper towel and opening the door because they had just washed their hands. And that right there blew my mind. It made me realize how much they pay attention to what we do and translate that into what we do in our personal and professional life that we think people are not paying attention to, but they are. Not just the kids, not just my husband, not just, but the world. The world. Your clients, the people who you want to do business with you, are constantly watching you. They may not say anything right away. They may watch you grow. They may watch you tweak and pop, as my coach says. But they watching. They watching. So I always know that you are always being watched. Always know what your why is. Always know why you are connecting and inspiring people. Always know why. Those 3 little letters, so powerful. Always know your why. I hope you found this valuable. If you did, like, love, share to someone. And I will chat at you later. Ciao.